Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show. Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Christopher Ray Patton. What is your go-to sci-fi action flick? Now, before any of you answer, let me give you the only choices you have available. There's the Terminator, there's the Matrix, you could maybe argue Star Wars, and that's all I'm giving you. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Relax. Everybody calm down. I'm not drawing a line in the sand or anything of that nature, but I am curious, how many of you out there said Robocop? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. All right, none of you. Okay. So we're going to get into that here today about why perhaps this character is not more iconic for today's generation. Hot take. Maybe the only take that you've ever heard like that. I don't know, but I got questions. We are doing the audio commentary here today for the film Robocop. So if you are going to watch the film with us, we're going to cue it up here shortly so you can follow along and let this be an addition to the amazing dialogue and bang, bang, shoot 'em up that is Robocop. But before we get there, we will do this. Robocop is a 1987 American science fiction action film, I told you, directed by Paul Verhoeven, and written by Edward Nurmer, and I may have mispronounced that, and Michael Miner. The film stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Daniel O'Hurley, Ronnie Cox, Kurtwood Smith, and Miguel Ferrer. Again, no disrespect on mispronunciations. Set in a crime-ridden Detroit in the near future, Robocop centers on police officer Alex Murphy, who is murdered by a gang of criminals and revived by the megacorporation Omni Consumer Products, known to you lot as OCP, as the cyborg law enforcer Robocop. Unaware of his former life, Robocop executes a campaign against crime while coming to terms with the lingering fragments of his humanity. This film, released July 17th, 1987. Yes, it's that old, and we're all going to be dead soon. Running time is 102 minutes. The budget for this film, $13.7 million, and the box office, I'm going to say only, as if millions of dollars means nothing to me. Box office is only $53.4 million. And that is the lowdown for Robocop. So, Chris, would you have raised your hand for favorite science fiction action film and volunteered Robocop as one of your answers?
It would be in the top two. I mean, right behind Terminator 2.
Nice.
For me.
Nice.
Like we were kind of talking a little bit before we jumped on here, but this was a childhood favorite of mine. This in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I rented so much from Video Depot next to Tom's Pizza in Oakwood, Georgia, for anyone near my area out there listening. Back in the day, I rented it so much that the owner of the video store just gave those two movies to me as a small kid. So yeah, I love this. I love this movie. I don't know that I would say, there are some other sci-fi action sci-fi movies that you didn't mention there at the begining, but
I may have missed a couple. What do you want from me? So you mentioned Terminator, and I did too, right? Because I'm with you. T2 is awesome. By the way, kids in the archives, go take a listen, because as we all know, they only made the first and second Terminator films. We've all agreement on that. We've already established that. There was nothing after that, okay? End of discussion. So in your opinion, and this is where I'm coming from on this question earlier, do you think that Robocop is held in the same regard these days as Terminator? And if not, is that because of a lack of content through the years? And is it because of Arnold? Is it a combination? I mean, what do you think?
That's kind of a... We were kind of talking a little bit beforehand. I mean, they just put out a Robocop game. We did get a Robocop reboot film. I'm curious to see like how that plays out to a newer generation.
Yeah.
Robocop look wise is a little harder to do than Terminator, because Terminator is just, Arnold Schwarzenegger. all of the robotic pieces are kind of underneath them. I will say, like, as far as how the film looks, I think it's shot well, but it's one of those things where it's kind of apples to oranges when you're looking at it in comparison to like Terminator 2 and everything that James Cameron put into that film. Like, that's a movie that the practical effects and even the early CGI stuff they did in Terminator 2 still looks good by today's standards, which is kind of wild.
It is kind of wild, yeah. I mean, you said you've seen this recently. I, on the other hand, have not watched it in a very, very long time. But when this movie came out, I was early teenager, and I'm here to tell you, I freaking thought it was. I mean, I was actually preteen. No, I was early teenager, but I freaking loved it. I watched it a whole bunch too, which, you know, a lot of stuff in there, maybe not for kids of a certain age, but man, it was. Whew, I freaking loved it, man. But I've always been more of a sci-fi guy. You know what I mean? I've always been more of a comic book / sci-fi guy. So I was the audience for this film for sure.
It's kind of crazy to think about that this movie originally got a rate, like was originally rated X, right? And then they had to go back and recut it to get it put in theaters. But as a kid in elementary school, I am pretty sure every kid I knew had seen Robocop.
Yeah,
which is, it's kind of like a different, I guess, a time period. But I'm surprised that this movie only did, like, when you were talking about how much money it made, I'm kind of surprised by that. But it kind of seems like almost like The Crow, where it's like, yeah, but it totally killed it on VHS.
That's fair. Maybe. Yeah. And honestly, the fact that, and we'll get into it, but the fact that this movie calls out 80s greed and capitalism and how, you know, those of us who aren't millionaires have kind of been left by the wayside, and those, you know, a lot less fortunate than us, I'm sure, are still trying to find their way in this world, especially in this country. I mean, this movie is make no apologies about calling those people out, which I actually really love.
Yeah, it's great. Just the whole satirical nature of it. It almost kind of has the Alan Moore Watchmen feel to it as far as the universe you're taken into. In that situation, like, what if, you know, Nixon was president for a long time?
Yeah. That's a good point. Did you like the 2014 remake? What did you think about that?
I liked it okay. I guess I was a little disappointed. Like, I think I saw that after Dread. So when I saw Dread, I was kind of hoping for the same take on Robocop, and while it was a little similar, it didn't, to me, it wasn't, you know, it didn't have the same effect on me as like Dread did, for instance. So when I was looking at like a reboot, I was hoping it would be more along those lines. It's also kind of a hard film to reboot. Like, do you want a modern day Robocop? The idea of this robot being created in the 80s makes it look like super advanced then, but now we have like giant transformers and stuff in Japan.
That's fair.
So it's kind of a hard thing to do. I don't know how you would really futurize Robocop. That was the other thing, is I also didn't like the way Robocop himself looked. Like, if you're a fan of like the classic Robocop look here, the new film, he basically looks like he's wearing a motorcycle rider outfit for the majority of it. Almost like a Tron, like the movie, that new version, or the new Tron that they released. It almost looks like that more than when I think of Robocop, what I think about in my head.
So for that 2014 reboot, had that movie not been a reboot and it just been something called Robocop, and you were not in your mind, of course, I guess it's impossible to say how you would have took it, but would it have just been another sci-fi movie anyway? Hard to say, right?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, because I didn't necessarily love that movie, even if you take it away from the Robocop licensing. Let's say I'd never seen the original Robocops. I don't know that I necessarily would love that film either way.
I never quite understood why they didn't just I don't understand why we can't just continue the story. I don't understand why we always, let's just start over. Like, and we talked about this on the pod here before, kids, so bear with me for a second. there's a lot of wacky dudes out there that hate women and they hate to see women succeed. And they especially hate to see women succeed in movies because men are dumb sometimes. All right. But that Ghostbusters film starring all women, my first pushback was, is this in the same universe? Oh no, it's a reboot. Well, then I'm out. Hey kids, Tom Clark here, and did you know the very podcast you're listening to right now is available on boinkstudios.com. B-O-I-N-K, Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com. You could have cast anyone, Chris, but for me, I'm like, then I'm out. You've got the original actors are still with us. Like, why are we not continuing? I just don't see this need to reboot. Just continue the story, Chris. Like that, I don't get that part of this at all.
Yeah, always with the Ghostbusters, it always just seemed like just getting all of those actors together and paying them seems like the more of the issue than them actually wanting to do another Ghostbusters.
Sure, yeah.
They were trying to get that done for a long time, right?
Yeah. I mean,
which we did get the last one. That was the last Ghostbuster flick.
I enjoyed that last one. Yeah, it
was a good take on it.
I agree, and I'm anxious to see the new one. I guess in my head, I'm thinking with that 2014 RoboCop, why couldn't you have just said we're going back to the program? You know, we scrapped it because it didn't work, and you know, Murphy was the exception, and then we had problems, so we scrapped it, but now we're going to bring it back. Like, I don't know. Anyway.
That's actually kind of why I love the video game, the new game that just came out, is instead of just telling you the origin story of RoboCop, it literally sets you in between the first and second film. Nice. And just picks up directly from there as a new story. I kind of like when stuff does that. As opposed to, well, let's retell the origin story of RoboCop. You know, it's like the name itself lets you know what RoboCop is. You don't really need to.
Good call. Yeah. You go see something called you go see something called the Terminator. You don't even know what that means. Like, what's that mean? The Terminator, what's that mean? But like RoboCop, you're like, oh, I get it. He's a cop that's a robot. I get it. Good point. Who made that game, by the way?
It's a smaller studio, actually, which I was kind of surprised by.
Interesting.
Let's see, pull them up. I'll look that up while we're getting started.
I've seen nothing about that game, but now I'm crazy interested to check it out.
Yeah, it's RoboCop Rogue City is a full title. And
oh, nice. Yeah.
Here. It's
on Steam, by the way, kids.
Available on all platforms, unless you're trying to play it on, I don't know if it's on Switch or not. That doesn't really seem like a Nintendo thing.
Well, the screen caps look good.
It's developed by Teon and published by Nacon. And let's see what other games they have done. Because when I looked them up, I was kind of... They did Burn. Let's see. Any other thing?
Become a hero and dish out justice. Decide how to fulfill your prime directives. The prime directive.
Probably. So the one that the closest thing to this game, I guess, if you're looking at that developer, would be Terminator Resistance, which was an okay game. This is a really good game in general, but also tying it into the RoboCop lore. Like, there's something about being able to be RoboCop and write like a parking ticket in a video game. You know, like, I will say it's, you know, it is a first-person shooter, so it is, you know, from a first-person aspect, but it's not like, you know, even if you're not a huge first-person shooter fan, this game plays slow enough that I think that you can. That anyone could play and enjoy it if you're a fan of RoboCop, for sure.
I mean, I want to check this out now. Yeah.
And they did a good job of like your difficult setting levels and settings that you can play around with it and just enjoy the story. So I'll give them credit for that. I was so pleasantly surprised because I was like, okay, they're going to do a RoboCop game. This is going to suck. And then when the positive reviews started coming out, I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to check out this RoboCop game. And it was wonderful. It is kind of if you do everything in the game, I guess you could get a lot more playtime out of it, but like as far as just the story, that would be the only knock on it. It's a shorter game.
Oh, interesting. Well, kids, if you're done listening to us talk about it, you're in luck because I think we might be done talking about it. Now we just want to watch the freaking movie, not the game, the movie. Relax. So this movie is available on a few different platforms. You know how to use the Google machine, right? Go look it up. But I'll tell you that I am watching it on Max. Chris is watching it on Prime. But never fear, we're going to sync it up like we always do here for you so you can play along as we go. So no matter what opening signatures you have, whether it's the HBO or it's whatever you've got, Joe's Movies or whatever comes up, what you want is the second the MGM line logo comes up, pause your video. The second it comes up, before he turns his head to growl, pause it. Let's all get there. We'll wait on you. All right, you've had long enough. Get there. So once you get there, pause it. And when I count down, 3, 2, actually, I'll say 1, 2, 3. We always do the Lethal Weapon countdown. We're going on 3. It's not 1, 2, 3, go. It's 1, 2, go on 3. Everybody got that? All right. Here we go, kids. The audio commentary for Robocop. We will drop markers as we go so you don't get lost, and neither will we. Here we go, kids. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There's the growl. If you just got the growl, you should be good. If not, you did it wrong. You're a terrible person. Go back and start over.
I love this Orion logo.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. It's
awesome. It's very 80s.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what's that movie company that did all of the Death Wishes?
I don't know.
God. Let's see. I'll look that up.
There's the title. Whoosh. Canon.
Yeah, Canon Films.
Look at that. You didn't have to worry about when that title was going to come. There's the screens. This just in. It's kind of what we have now. That's Lisa Gibbons, isn't it? From Entertainment Tonight?
I don't know. I just like the commentary was, you give us 3 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Yeah.
For the news intro.
Yeah, I think that's her. If not, it looks like her. How do I not know that? I look how she just smiled through the whole thing. Terrible. Qualified surgeons. Look at that. You mean to tell me they're going to shove that thing up in your chest? You kidding me? Holy Lord. And remember, we care. OCP. Chris, are you down with OCP?
You know it, man.
All right.
Actually, wait. Yeah. Oh, no.
I queued you up. You almost missed it. You did miss it, but I'll let it go. There is the great, legendary Ronnie Cox. If you need the dude in charge, especially the villainous dude in charge, Ronnie Cox is a great actor, man. I'm not dissing him. Kurtwood Smith.
Kurtwood Smith is absolutely incredible in this film.
So good.
And kind of like unsuspectingly so, as far as like a bad guy goes, because he doesn't really necessarily look like who you would cast in your mind as that character, but it works so well.
Yeah, long before he was Red Foreman on that 70s show. Take Laughing Boy with you.
I love the way that like most of the like scenes inside the police station looks like they've been just smoking in there nonstop.
Yeah, yeah.
with,
Very hazy.
Yeah, with like and it's kind of like that in a lot of this film, but you know,
That's
it's a
our
very specific look.
Yeah, for sure. That's our first look at Alex Murphy, the great Peter Weller. That is Robert Doquois as Sergeant Warren Reed.
So in the game itself, they nail every part of this police station look-wise.
Nice.
So when you walk in, it's literally just like almost like note for note the exact station.
Welcome to hell. That was Lisa Gibbons, by the way, for Entertainment Tonight on the opening. Hey.
I would assume that even in the 80s that male and female police officers were not just using the same locker room.
I suspect it's not a really good idea. Hey, we're progressive here on the show. We believe in equal rights for everyone, no matter your background or ethnicity or, your choice who you want to be in this world. But I still don't know if it's a good idea, to Chris's point, to have everybody dressing out in the same locker room. Because dudes are always going to be dudes, and dudes sometimes are messed up.
I mean, to be fair, I don't even like going into male locker rooms, so I couldn't see a world where normal females would be okay with this.
Don't get me started on going to the Y 4 days a week and then dudes who are flat out walking around completely naked with no shame at all. Well, I'm thinking, I got a towel around me. Call me old fashioned, but I got a little bit of pride. I got a little bit of shame here, like, come on, man.
There's always that one like 65, 70-year-old dude that's just completely okay with just sitting naked for long periods of time.
He's just walking around and they come right up on you wanting to talk to you. And you're like, come on. I love, by the way, here's Nancy Allen. You like that karate chop she gave to his back? Hiya!
Yeah.
Oh, there's some bad words. Come on, Chief. You're better than that.
I just like beating up criminals in the police station is such a thing that they're just like, hey, when you're done beating up that suspect, get over here.
When you're done violating his civil rights, okay? Let's be sure that and by the way, don't even bother filling out a report. It's fine. It's fine. Oh my. Yeah, this is I don't know if we get the year specified in this, do we? This is a dystopian future, or, as most great sci-fi movies in the 80s were, they're this dystopian future here, kids.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of why I relate it to like Watchmen in my head, because I think it's supposed to be set in the 80s, but it is like almost like an alternate universe or dimension.
Yeah. That's Miguel Ferrer. And again, hope I'm not butchering that as Bob Morton. And now we're hearing the first inklings of Ed 209. We'll see that sucker in action here shortly, pal. Just get ready for that.
Lewis is such a great character in this film in general. Speaking of RoboCop's partner.
Yeah.
Especially as we get further into RoboCop being RoboCop, because he, it's going to be impossible for him to show any kind of emotion. So Lewis as a character becomes very important so that you're, have something to care about.
That's an excellent point, actually. And that yeah.
When I was a kid, I always wanted a room with like all of these CRT TVs. I was like, man, one day when I grow up, I'm going to have like a room like that.
This is Dan O'Hurley, I believe. O'Hurley. He is no longer with us. We lost him in 2005 at age 85. Man, you talk about a long career. That guy started in 1947. His last project was in 1998. How you like that?
Wow.
He had a long career, man. That's impressive. His list is huge. These white yuppie looking dudes, they're all about this, aren't they? Like money.
Yeah,
yes.
The one guy plays like the perfect butt kisser, like he's clapping for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Felton Perry sitting next to him, I believe. He's only listed as OCP executive. A bunch of TVs on the wall typically means high-tech dystopian future, Chris, does it not?
Yeah, for sure.
These guys have money. You see all these TVs? These things aren't cheap. In 1987, one of those TVs would cost you $600. So there you go. I'm just kidding.
They might cost you that now with the prices of CRT TVs going up.
That's fair.
I keep seeing like Sony Tritons for like $300 online now.
Gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future. Ed, come on in here. I'd forgotten he just had him come into the boardroom.
It makes you wonder, did they build this entire, like when they were designing this office building,
yeah.
They were like, well, we might have giant robots walking around, so we need to make sure that the ceilings are high enough.
And wide doors, guys. We need wide doors. I mean, look, we won't talk about the stop animation here. That's really rough. It's fine. It's 87. Everybody calm down. I think it's fine, Chris. I hear that George Lucas is going to take that out and digitally replace it and make the movie better. So
I kind of love it, like, because we see so much that's CGI now. Like, it's almost refreshing to see like a stop motion PVC developed model here.
Yeah. And if anyone picked up on that Star Wars George Lucas reference, that's good on you. And if you need copies of the original trilogy as God intended, let me know. I'll hook you up. I got you. So, Mr. Kenny. Mr. Kenny, good luck to you. It's been nice knowing you. For this thing to work, you got to point it at him. Jesus. It's not going to be a good idea. Oh, God. It's growling like a lion. I forgot the growling like a lion bit. Guys? They're all like...
Did they use the MGM growl there? I'm going to have to go back later and...
Oh, God. No, wait, let me ask you a question. When Ed opens fire, is that on one or is it 3, 2, 1, then open fire? Oh, my goodness. Hey, Ed, I think you got him. Jesus. I just want him to go. Well, I think that went.
Help here.
Yeah, overall, I think this went pretty well. You know,
they just all get back to work.
Yeah. All right, that's enough loitering. Get back to your desk. It's only a glitch.
Not to go back to the Crow from our last watch along, but it's like when he murders Gids, as we've lovingly started to call him.
Yes.
He's like, can someone get the janitor up here?
Yeah.
I love the design of Ed 209 because just at a glance, he just looks like a cute, big robot.
Yeah.
But then he's a murdering machine.
Yeah, he's not quite as cuddly in the end. We've restructured the police department and placed prime candidates according to risk factor. All we need is a dead cop, sir. Just a dead cop. And the guy's like, well, there's that one over there. Can you use him? Use that guy that Ed just killed? No, sir. He's a little too dead. We don't need to be fully dead. Just a little dead.
Just a tiny bit dead.
Just a little dead. We can't be putting an executive in a suit of armor, sir.
I just like they watched Ed 209 blow a dude away, and they're like, yo, get that presentation ready in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Boy, Murphy's ready for some crap, isn't he? That's not concerning to see a cop sitting around playing quick draw in a parking lot. That's not concerning at all. Warning, there may be some 2024 commentary added here for context.
Why would this is a good point. Like, if you walked by and a cop was just doing this in today's society, like, what is going on?
Yeah. This might be the future, but I see cars behind it that aren't so futuristic. I'm just going to tell you, Chris. That Chevy Blazer doesn't look so futuristic.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is I don't know. I think it's actually still supposed to be set in the 80s, but it's like an alternate version or alternate timeline or something.
Have you been to Detroit, by the way?
I have. It's been a long time. Probably.
Well, I mean, listen.
10
you've been
years
there.
Ago?
You can tell us. Are there cops playing quick draw in a parking lot, and how futuristic is it really?
There's a lot of empty buildings and parking lots.
Oh, well, that's fair. Yeah. There's our first full look at Kurtwood Smith. That's Red Foreman to you, kids, in all his glory.
Did you watch that 90s show that they did, the reboot on Netflix?
I watched the first season, yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
More than I actually expected to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're going to have to basically, erase Hyde from continuity now. With good reason. But
yeah, I mean, they kind of tackled that on the show, right? By making him...
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what they said about him. I mean,
something that he was in prison or something, if I remember.
I say
correctly.
recast it. I say recast it. The character is great. Just recast it. Heck with that guy.
Well, them shifting more towards it being about the kids.
Yeah.
And Kitty and Red. I think that's a fine way to do it as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Ray Wise as Leon Nash with great hair. Great hair on that guy. Pick him up. Throw him out. Look, Bobby was doing the best he could. We need to talk about this. We can't let Bobby's death have happened in vain. This is ridiculous. Is Bobby dead?
I don't think Bobby would be dead, right?
Well, I mean, he looks kind of dead. That executive's around the corner going, hey, we could get that guy, put him in the suit. He's just looking for basically any half-dead guy he can find.
This factory or wherever they're at now always just gave me Batman vibes.
Yeah.
Like the way it looks. Specifically for people who have been to Six Flags over Georgia, when you walk through the queue for Batman the Ride, it pretty much just looks like this.
Yeah. By the way, we had to mention that the director, Paul Verhoeven, I think, this guy's got a filmography, buddy. Let me tell you, it started in 1960. Last credit was in 2021. Total Recall. Man, look at that guy's list, dude. Robocop, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, Starship Troopers. He also did Showgirls. Don't hold that against him.
So the majority of this film is actually filmed in Dallas, representing Detroit, which is kind of crazy to think about. This is mostly in Dallas, Texas.
Isn't that something?
But basically, the director he didn't want to do Detroit because it had too many low buildings, like buildings not tall enough. So that's why they picked Dallas, because it's supposed to be like a future version of Detroit, right?
Makes sense. Yeah. Look, she had to look down. What kind of commentary is this about? She had to look at it. Come on, man. We can do better than that. Got distracted. If you were still with us.
Seeing here, if we're going over the Wikipedia, it's saying that this was supposed to be set in the 80s in the near future. So this is what they thought 1989 was going to look like, I guess.
2 years after it released, yeah. In 2 years, we're all in big trouble. If you're just with, or if you're still following along, kids, Murphy just bust in. He shot a dude with the little hat on, little driver cap. Another guy's got a pump shotgun. He decided not to fire back. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. That is Paul McCrane, who you're looking at right there. He knows better. That's Emil. Emil's like, I'm good. Don't care to get shot. By the way, since when does a cop just transfer the handgun to one hand and approach the guy without making him get on the floor, lace his fingers behind his head? He's two-fisting the weapon. I don't know. What do I know?
Uh-oh.
They done got the drop on him. You see that? Literal blood money, kids. Couldn't help myself. Man, that guy's got some perfect hair. His hair's too good to be a villain, Chris. Am I wrong about this?
No, he does have some good hair.
I love he's got some great hair.
I love the look of this gang, by the way.
Yeah. They just look like like Ray Wise is looking like a soap opera actor.
You show up, all you have to do is get a members only jacket. You can join this gang.
True. Ray Wise, by the way, for you kids following along, was Dr. Alec Holland in the 1982 film Swamp Thing. How you like that?
Now, we should point out that he maybe should have called for some backup before going into this building to begin with.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I agree with that. Ray Wise is still going, by the way, kids, and his hair still looks phenomenal. I think you're slime. We can do better than that. I don't know that Kerwood Smith ever full-time had hair in his life, you know? Because he looked like this on that 70s show 30 years later.
So if you're watching this with closed captions, you just get mimicked gun tracking noise.
Yes. And now gasping.
Yeah.
By the way, that shotgun's, holy Lord, obliterated Murphy's hand. Obliterated.
You have
the shame of this is
the one-line joke he gets in there too. He's like, "Well, give the man a hand."
Of course. Again, he couldn't help himself. Oh, this is not going to end well.
No.
Go down, Murphy. Go down. Don't be a hero, Murphy. Murphy's not going down, Chris. Murphy's trying to be a hero.
Yeah, if you're Lewis at this point, you're just like, well, nothing I can do for this guy, and just leave. Right? Like,
read the room. She's reading the room, Chris. Self-preservation's kicking in. Okay, fun's over. Oh, that was the end. Pretty gruesome, Chris. Practical effects in the 80s, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot. That's how this movie ended up being rated X, right? When they originally tried to get the rating on it because of some of the gore elements, specifically with these gun scenes.
I mean, he might be all right.
This is another one of those films that came on TBS a lot. So seeing that to the version on TV versus the actual VHS copy at the time, it's a completely different world, right?
Lewis is upset. She did all she could, Chris, to help her partner. The way she stood there and watched him get shot, I mean, look what she did for him.
I really wish like TNT and TBS would bring back like the movies for guys that like movies or whatever. Like throw that after Rampage or Dynamite or something.
Can I ask you a question? Why are we doing this? Because I don't recall what happens from here. Is this the Robocop program that's doing this before he's too dead? Because he's flat out dead here, Chris.
Yeah, he's completely dead. But they did show earlier that they can do a lot because we have full replacement hearts in this future. So
we have replacement heads, Chris. Because he did take a bullet.
That's true.
I'm just saying. It's fine. He'll be fine. Let's get to work. Let's do what we do, guys.
We're under the, they kind of teased that they were looking for someone kind of dead for this experiment in the boardroom.
I'm telling you, we just need him almost dead. It's like Naked Gun, right?
Yeah.
Naked Gun when he says, all right, who in here is almost dead? Who's almost dead? Who's getting ready to die? And then one hand goes up like that.
For whatever reason, when they go into these scenes where he's seeing past memories, it reminds me of that episode of South Park where the shop teacher keeps seeing his like wife, and it's like live action shots.
Yes, you're right. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Yeah, she gets up off the bed and says, "We have to talk." It's like something. I remember this now. His wife and kid. They're trying to save him, Chris. I don't know what's going on. You know why there's no pulse, nurse? He's been dead for 30 minutes. That's why there's no pulse. I can't believe I didn't remember this. But yet he has memories. What? 6:15. Died at 6:15. We're like, no, he didn't. He died at 5:30. I don't know what you're doing. It's 45 minutes of counting. What are we doing here? Uh-oh. If your screen just got wonky, kids, do not adjust your television / electronic device. Because I think we're going to be okay.
He's like adjusting it with needle nose pliers. I'm sure that's not the right tool to be using on this.
This high-tech piece of equipment.
Yeah.
You hear that sound? Ooh. Really? Great. It's like a dentist drill. Ooh,
When I was searching for this movie on Prime, I came across the making of RoboCop. I kind of told you I saw that. I might have to order that DVD just to see how they did some of this stuff, actually.
Yeah. We should lose the arm. What do you think, Johnson? He signed the release forms when he joined the force. He's legally dead. We can do pretty much what we want to do to him. Great. Uh-huh. Let's paint his face up. Who's got the lipstick?
I guess in this future, there's also no police unions.
Yeah, there's no common decency. And you're right. Don't remember that. So let's trust this thing after seeing what Ed 209 did to that boardroom.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? They're trying to design something to get them to Ed 209 that they can use as a political tool to be like, look, RoboCops are fine. Look at this guy.
Yeah, see? It's fine. Man, such potty mouth. What's going on here? And look, he's watching all this. I forgot about this New Year's Eve stuff. Hey, you freaking dead. God, man, everyone in 1989 was a horrible person, Chris, in the post-apocalyptic 1989.
Did you have to love this giant 1980s hair, though?
Yes. Yes. The dystopian 1989 is People are very rude. My great pleasure to present to you Robocop.
Yeah. You gotta love that this guy, these scientific minds, and you would think would come up with something better than literally what he is, but they're like, nope,
Yeah.
Robocop, that's the name we're going with.
Yeah. That's all they could do. Wouldn't it be cool if the word robo stood for something, like ROBO stood for something, and then they just shortened it? I'd even buy that,
Yeah.
I will offend again. Hey, this guy knows who he is, Chris. He's comfortable in his own skin. You know what I mean? So
I am what you call a repeat offender. I will offend again.
He's not trying to be somebody he's not. I admire that guy.
I'm gonna have to start using that on the Wrestling Geeks Alliance podcast when I say something slightly controversial.
We just saw OCP come in there. Uh-oh. That infamous sound effect of him walking.
So I read a fun fact about this as we were getting ready for the show. Anytime that he's in the police car, it's just the top of the suit up because they couldn't fit him in the suit into the car.
Makes sense.
So he's just sitting in his underwear with just the top of the suit on, apparently.
Meanwhile, Nancy Allen sitting next to him. Peter Weller was like, "Hey, I'm up here. Okay, I'm up here. All right."
Did you
We know how you like to look at the men's private parts. What got you in trouble to begin with? All right, so eyes up.
You've watched some of the animated comics they've done for Batman, right? Have you seen the ones where Weller's doing the voice for Batman?
I have not. Great. Yeah, great fit though. Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, he does it. The Dark Knight Returns. He's Batman in that animated look, which is I think does a really great job, especially for the tone of that specific storytelling.
Yeah, Peter Weller's got great voice, man. We just saw the baby food stuff, the protein stuff they're feeding him, and now she's got the pen and she's trying his targeting, and we're getting a full shot of his face for the first time. I love the suit, Chris. I know it's like not streamlined. I know it's very of its time, and it's looks like a tank. Kind of looks like Iron Man's first suit he built in the cave, but like, I love it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was saying when you asked about the 2014 version of this, is that they did do the streamline version of that, and I kind of hated it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I prefer this look for sure.
Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. Kids, you just got the 3 prime directives.
Directive
number 4. I was going to say, number 4, get tacos. Wouldn't it be great if number 4 was get tacos? Like
get tacos. Directive 5, protect us from Ed 209.
Yeah, just way down the line. Why would they make it number 4 to get tacos? Like, have you had tacos here? They're amazing.
Why would they even show him the directive if it's classified? Yeah. You could just leave that out of the programming. He doesn't necessarily have to see it.
Look at that gun, guys. I'm not a gun dude at all, but holy God.
And also, why did they not give this gun to everyone else on the force? That seems like
why didn't they? Because no one can pick it up, Chris. No one can pick it up. It weighs like 40 pounds.
Yeah, maybe that's it, is that they just literally wouldn't have the arm strength to be able to hold this fully automatic crazy handgun.
I just want to see him turn it on its side and go, ba-da-da, like that. That would be fun.
So in the game, they did get Weller to do the voice of Robocop, and they did get a lot of the original voice actors as well.
Oh, we saw the quick draw McGraw happening.
So the reason he was practicing the spinning the gun and stuff is because his kid was super. They kind of showed it in the memory clip. It goes by real quick, but that's like a TV show his kid was into, TJ Laser or whatever.
TJ Laser, not to be confused with TJ Hooker. Where's my 80 kids at? Where's my 80s kids at? Come on now.
It would have been really funny if it was like the kid was just really into Miami Vice.
Yeah, and instead of flipping a gun, you like pop your collar up or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pull the sleeves up on the blazer. That's the movie always does. He's always pushing his sleeves up.
It would be really hilarious thinking about this now if you could just get robot like Robocop, but he gets like a custom made white suit.
Oh, wait. I'd buy that for $1. Classic line. Classic. What do you think about the music? What do you think about the score of this movie, by the way?
I think it's great. Like it's got like this it's like I don't know. It's man, the 80s were really good about their action movie scores. I feel like you don't get that as much. But like you think about like Terminator 2, this flick, even something like Total Recall, all of those scores are phenomenal.
We have to give a shout out to the special effects team led by Robin Boughton, or Boughton, I believe. He's worked with John Carpenter. He worked on The Fog and The Thing, Total Recall, Basic Instinct. He's done a lot of stuff with special effects. What kind of special effects is he doing in Basic Instinct, by the way? I got a crude joke I can insert there, and I won't. I'll be better than that.
Are you referring to one of the most paused moments in VHS history?
Yeah, it's a prosthetic. Come on, it's not really her. No, I don't know. Yeah, his credits are big too. Wow. Yeah. Dude, he worked on the original Star Wars in '77. So this conversation just got a lot more serious for me.
So IMDb pointed out that the glass is cracked in that scene before he ever goes through the glass.
Ooh, nice.
Also, Miller Lite feels the same way as we do about Robocop because they went back to these vintage cans that they're showing. They're like, you know what? Chris and Tom are right. We need to bring the 80s back.
Right. He's like, we don't want your money. Look at that hair. Tell me that's a wig.
You gotta love.
They want her wig. That's what they want.
See,
I told you.
So the background here, like the billboard, it just says the future has a silver lining. It's like they know how terrible Delta City is.
Wow, that got to be. Ooh, yeah. Look at that, dude. Look at that knife with the handle on it, like a gun. Uh-oh. Oh, uh-oh. Watch that aim there, Murphy.
Prime directive, protect the innocent.
Oh.
Creep.
Classic lines. She's like, you know how much I paid for this skirt? For crying out loud.
You've seen, have you seen Hobo with a Shotgun?
I have not seen that yet, but we talked about it here on the show, I believe, didn't we? During a watch along, I think.
Probably.
I think so. I love the title. I'm telling you.
They have a throwback to people getting their penis blown off in that film that I think had to have a little bit of inspiration from RoboCop.
Well, look, good thing we're in, dystopian 1989 where we have the technology to replace body parts. So we're good. So that dude that he's fine. He'll be
I mean, I don't know, Tom. If you could get a robo penis, that line's going to be pretty long.
Robo penis. I guarantee you there is a porn out there called Robo Penis, and it's a takeoff on RoboCop. There's a better word for it, but I won't use it because I'm better than that.
I tried to keep it clean.
Fill in the blanks, kids. Fill in the blanks. You'll get no fill from me on this show. I'll tell you.
Oh, man.
The reporters want a statement. He's like, get out of my face before I shoot all of you in the head. What did he say? Yeah.
So in the video game, there is an achievement for shooting people in the penis. So just shout out to
anyone who's
what? Play that.
Wow. They're like, I heard someone say, "Who made you?" Wouldn't it be cool if he turned around out of character and went, "Well, really, that's a big question, is it? Who made all of us?" Really?
That one reporter just yells, "Are you invincible?" That's like, man, you're really bad at your job.
And he's like, "You can see me, can't you?" And they're like, "Not invisible, invincible." We didn't say invincible. Look, Chris, this guy just wants his job back.
He's going.
And he wants a bigger office
and
a new car. What kind of car? Something with reclining leather seats, goes really fast. It gets crappy gas mileage. I love it. The 6000 SUX. The sucks.
The 6000 sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it come with cruise control? This is hilarious. I've forgotten all about this.
We're going to have to do a companion episode at some point where we watch an episode of the TV show or something.
Right? By the way, totally forgot about the TV show till you brought it up. Totally forgot about it.
Is thermograph a real word, or is this just a Robocop word? I'm going to have to Google this.
Oh, sounds pretty realistic. Oh! Wouldn't it be great if, as you pull them through the...
produces an image representing a record or varying temperature. So, yes.
Oh, there you go.
The more you know.
Yeah. Doo-doo. Wouldn't it be great if, when they pulled him through the wall, the guy accidentally shot at all the hostages in the room when the gun went off?
I like that they're just completely comfortable sending Robocop to schools after the Ed 209 incident.
Yeah. I want to know if these kids were told this is just an actor in a suit. That's what I want to know.
I mean, if they were anything like me, they were just super hyped. They were like, man, look how cool this is.
Yeah. I love how Lisa Gibbons and her co-anchor just smile through everything. That reminds me of The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller, the book, you know.
For sure, yeah. Which, going back to Peter Weller, that's one of the ones he voices as Batman. So
there you go.
Back around here.
There you go. Holy Lord, what a game that is. Nuke 'em. I have legit forgotten most of this movie, Chris. I'm not even messing with you.
You could do a whole film that is just like a day of TV or an hour of TV in this universe, I think, with just the commercials and game shows that they're showing throughout the film.
No kidding. Delta City. The end of crime in 40 days. That's a lot of crime. Does that include jaywalking, spousal abuse, speeding, graffiti, all crime, Chris? That's a big statement.
Yeah, maybe he should have said violent crimes or something. I don't know.
Thank you.
Down a little bit.
Cheating on your taxes, Robocop busts in, put the pen down. I don't know. You know,
Robocop goes hard after check fraud.
Yes. Oh, that's fun.
I like this angle we get of this dude's leg as he's taking a dump for no reason.
Yeah, that's we have to make it realistic.
Also, I guess they don't have stalls in the future. You just poop out in the middle of the room.
And look, there's no walls between the urinals. I guess we're all comfortable in our own skin. Oh, wait, there are walls between.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a stall when they went back to it. Okay, I was going to be like, that's really wild. I don't want to live in this future if I have to just do my business in public places, just sitting there awkwardly.
The dystopian future that was 1989. Ronnie Cox.
This is not really related to the movie, but I always find it weird when you're working in like an office building and you see the one guy that takes the paper into the bathroom with him. You're like, dude, not in the workplace, man.
Not in the workplace.
What you do at home is your own business, but
there's Dick Jones giving him the business. Listen here, see. Thank you.
I'm going to change my online presence name just to Dick Jones. That's a
Dick Jones. And then your tagline would be giving them the business. I had a guaranteed military sale with Ed 209. Spare parts for 25 years. Who cares if it worked or not?
I'm kind of curious if anyone ever made the Nukem game.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Know if there's a
sweet old man.
So
yes,
this game can also be seen in the back of Back to the Future 2.
Oh, nice.
And the prop itself has been resold. It was part of a lot.
Excellent.
But as far as I can tell, there's no actual board game. But looking at the prop itself closely, it just looks like a version of Battleship, kind of.
It does. I like how villains get so close they could kiss you in movies. That's uncomfortably close for me.
Well, as wrestling fans, Tom, we see this constantly because it's everyone's new favorite thing to do, directly press their foreheads against one another.
Yeah. There's a girl with her loose blouse and shirt or a tie because it's all about that 80s corporate look here. Robocop done taking a nap.
You remember when Vince McMahon tried to do that with Kevin Owens and Kevin Owens headbutted him? In retrospect,
yes.
Good move, Kevin Owens.
in retrospect, Kevin should have had a Robocop helmet on and headbutted much harder.
Yeah. I mean, he headbutted him pretty hard, from what I remember.
Lingering concussion. Saying.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to hear conversations about CTE because they're coming.
Oh, dude, listen. I don't want to get into that, but I'll tell you this. If anybody uses that, the apologists that come out for that guy and certain other politicians who were terrible people, one in particular, you make apologies for something like that. You have got to. It's one thing if it's a gray area and you don't know and you're not sure and the guy's got great qualities about him, but you're not sure. Dude, come on. You know what I mean? Jesus. Bucket boy.
Are they not worried at all? Like, okay, they are worried. I was like, are they not worried about Robocop having PTSD over here?
Yeah, really? The answer is no. Must get cheeseburger. You know what he's doing? He's after the tacos now. That's what's happening.
Directive 4, the classified directive.
Yes, get the tacos.
So I did watch this recently, but I don't remember what the unclassified, what the actual directive is.
Oh, good, because I don't remember either. We'll find out together.
I'm gonna look it up. I can't wait that long.
Don't do it. You can't be telling nobody. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I totally forgot.
I won't tell you.
Bob Morton. Bob Morton will be on the case. She's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything because that if someone was watching this for the first time, that directive plays into things later in kind of a big way. Everyone's calling me Robocop, bro.
Yeah.
My friends call me TJ Laser.
TJ Laser. I also answer to Darth Vader.
I mean, it's not like they could tell Robocop any different.
Yeah. Why didn't they tell him what his name was? There's Roosevelt.
So I have heard in the past that Weller hated doing this film because he felt like he couldn't act, portraying a RoboCop is kind of not a great task for an actor as far as showing off your face and your facial expressions or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would argue that worked perfectly as far as him as an actor portraying that. So I don't know
totally
if
agree.
on him or the director or what, but
I totally agree.
Super annoying to shoot in this suit for both the director and the actor.
Sure. I agree, because it's like, well, you need to bring depth to this character. That's the challenge for any actor, is to bring depth to the character. Like, I would think that'd be a challenge, man. I'd take that.
Yeah, especially because there's only so much depth you can bring because you're supposed to be a robot. Like, that's a hard ask.
Yeah,
it's a tough ask.
It's OCP. You got it? And he says, yeah, you know me.
Do you think that he has a trombone, basketball, baseball just laying around his living room?
He's a sports guy. He's the cliched 80s African-American police chief.
For those that hadn't checked out the watch along of The Crow, I highly recommend it.
Yes.
That joke will make a little more sense.
I like when other people plug my show. I appreciate that. There's a shell, but I don't see the shell. Did someone get sued for this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Saying. Oh, excuse me, sir. Do you have any Twix? I like the Twix.
This guy's trying to better his life, you know.
Yeah.
He's
working
still
his
in
way through college. Yeah.
Age 45.
Yeah. He's just working. It's community college, but he's working. Don't be hating on that, guys. Come on.
Hey, I'm not, man. You know.
He's like, I love how he's like, oh, now filled up on number 7. That was nice. I don't think you have to be a good shot for that gun to work, Chris. I think you just gotta randomly pull the trigger and it'll get everybody within a, 200-yard distance.
If he was just wanting to steal gas, I would assume that these pumps are just always on, like they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to be able on trust to just pump your gas and then go in and pay for it.
Come on. You're better than this. Don't be like that to him, Emil. Emil's the typical lackey. He's never going to be the boss. He's the loose cannon lackey,
Yeah, and he's kind of great at it. You got to love this like curly rat tail thing that he's got going on here.
Yeah.
These Jeff Hardy-esque sideburns.
Well done. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Uh-oh. Emil knows him.
Arrest mode.
Now he's in confused mode.
Yeah.
Is that pink gas coming out of that thing? What am I looking at?
I don't know. Was it gas or was it like, it almost looks like the yeah, I guess it's supposed to be gas. It kind of made me think of like the stuff that you wash your window with, the squeegee.
Yeah.
It looks more
apparently,
like that than gas.
If you're right, that stuff's highly flammable, evidently. Because whoosh! Look at that. That's nice. The typical 80s explosion, and the hero walks away from it. Oh, come on, Emil. It didn't have to end this way, Emil.
I mean, he warned him. He did say, dead or alive, you're coming with me. So.
That's fair. Yeah. The warning was given. He's like, told you. I just wanted to say I'm Batman. I really wanted to say it. Crap.
How would you like to be the guy that just has to review all of like Robocop's daily activities? Records, because it's like recording, and then they definitely like pull his hard drive out and upload it.
Yeah. I love it. That guy's underpaid, I'll tell you. He's underpaid. Oh, Wolverine action.
I like that they made it the middle finger too.
Yeah, of course.
So
that's some R2D2 stuff he's got going on now, buddy.
So another call out to the game, you have to like fix servers in one of the like side missions, and the screen overlay is exactly that. That's how it looks.
That's so cool. I got to play this game now.
Yeah, like I said, if you're a fan of the movie, they really did do a great job of making it, especially because most licensed like video games like that, movie video games, are usually terrible. This one is great, though. Highly recommend.
There's Nash with the great hair. Joe Cox.
Mr. Just for Men himself.
Yes. There's Red Foreman.
Do you think that's how Red Foreman lets people in the gang? Since he doesn't have hair, he only gets people with good hair?
Yes. Yes. I appreciate a good head of hair.
Look how many murders this guy has, like known murders. You would think more of the city would be out trying to find this guy.
No kidding.
Basically a serial killer.
That dude earlier was saying that he's going to clean up all crime within 40 days, but meanwhile, no one's looking for this guy. Like, shouldn't he be on the list, you know?
I'm curious if Primrose Lane actually exists in Detroit. I'm going to do a
548.
Google Maps search.
That'd be 548 Primrose Lane. I didn't see the zip, unfortunately, but it is Detroit.
There is a Primrose Lane, and it's considered to be in Southfield, Michigan.
Nice. But is there a Primrose Path, Chris?
I can see.
Many of my jokes are not landing today, and I'm okay with that. There'll be one guy in Bangor, Maine, who listens to this going, "Oh, I totally got that." So, cute doggy. Look, he's got like an ATM when you walk into the house. Man, home building in 1989 is pretty crazy.
The street does exist in the northern suburb of Detroit, Southfield, Michigan. However,
Nice.
The number 548 does not. So
that's unfortunate.
Once again, the more you know.
Yes. I have to say, dude, that suit looks pretty darn good.
It does. And it gets better too. Like by the third film, they've really got that suit like pretty nailed down.
Frank Miller directed the third one, did he not? He wrote it, didn't he?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
I think Frank Miller, he either wrote and directed or just wrote, because I know that third one was not well received at all.
Yeah, I was going to say that's unfortunate for him if he did, because that's definitely the worst of the Robocop things, or at least in my opinion, I should say. I'm sure there's people that really love Robocop 3 out there. No, it was Frank Miller is listed as a writer on Robocop 3. The director was Fred Decker. So, I did not know that. That's interesting.
Fred Decker sounds like the guy that played Hunter. Remember that 80s show Hunter?
I think I've seen a couple episodes of that here somewhere, but yeah, I don't have a lot of memory of that.
He was an ex-NFL football player. We're dropping all kinds of knowledge bits here today, Chris. I'm telling you. By the way, Robocop has a 92% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. How do you like that?
I want to see what Frank Miller's original Robocop 3 script was, because I just refuse to believe that the film that got made was what was originally written in that script.
Yeah. We just got a close-up of his wife. Let's see. His wife.
Why is he automatically in arrest mode? Like nothing's happened. He didn't get called to this place.
I know, right?
Showed up.
I can't find who played his wife. You got it here somewhere, kids.
I've never been a club guy, but is this how clubs are, Tom? Is this what...
Oh, let me tell you. Here in the sleepy town of where I live in North Carolina, we got clubs like this around every corner. Neon, dudes with good hair. Why is the go-to always the crotch for this gang?
I don't know. That's a good call, though.
Wow.
I don't know. You would. I know that he's supposed to be a dumb bad guy, but probably don't kick a solid steel robot in the nads. It's not going to do anything.
No. I mean, Bob Morton with a table full of cocaine. By the way, is Robocop going to come after him now? Because, he's breaking the law, isn't he? Clean up all crime except the crime I do.
What is they don't they have a name for the drug in Robocop? Like, they have another drug in Robocop that's specific to it, kind of like
Good
Judge
Lord.
Dredd.
That's $400 she just put on her chest. You see that? That's a lot of money, dude.
Nuke. That's what it's called.
Oh, there you go.
Highly addictive and most pleasurable narcotic that was made by the drug lord and leader of the Nuke cult, Kane.
I would say.
So that is, you would assume that this guy's getting his drugs from Boddicker?
Probably so. Oh, wow. That's a good call. No wonder he's not going after him. There we go. Well. Asked and answered. I'm just saying.
There's just something kind of funny when he's like, bitches leave. Sorry. I mean,
ladies of the evening, off with you. Oh, man. You don't mess with Red Foreman. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. He's like just really into shooting appendages, by the way.
Yeah. You're lucky you didn't aim higher there, buddy. Uh-oh. Dick done got revenge here. Dick Jones to you.
So, okay, I'm trying to remember. So Dick Jones is mad because this guy created Robocop, and he wants to use Ed 209 instead, and that's why he's upset?
Yes.
Okay. Couldn't you just do both?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Look, I think we have bigger fish to fry here, because there's a freaking grenade unpinned. Clock's ticking. Red Foreman's taking his time. By the way, can we point out the fact that Ronnie Cox is playing Dick Jones? There's some toilet humor for you. I couldn't help myself. It's staring me in the face. A lot of this movie is very below the belt, isn't it?
Do we have timer-based grenades in, like, real life at this point?
Well, we do in Dystopia 1989, apparently. So, surprised you didn't know that.
I'm kind of curious if we actually, does our military have timer-based grenades? Once you pull the pin, you do have a certain time to get that thing off. But I wonder
if that's
true.
Oh, so they're mass producing that drug. Look, I've seen plenty of drug movies. Shouldn't every woman in there be topless? I'm just saying. Because aren't they always afraid that the people are going to steal the drugs? These guys have pockets. They got coats on. Come on now. We got to get some continuity here.
My initial research of this is just bringing up a bunch of Half-Life 2 stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and say maybe not.
Oh, there you go.
Half-Life 2, also a great video game.
This is very much a man cast today here, folks. The ladies aren't getting much spotlight. I mean...
Hey, I put over Lewis as a great character at the beginning.
She's a great character, but, she had to look down at the guy's junk and got pushed off the freaking, I forgot the word. She got pushed down.
This is a very bro movie as far as how women are mostly utilized throughout this film.
Yeah, damsel in distress. They got saved. Yeah. The villains are macho. The heroes are macho.
What a heel move to just shove your fingers in somebody else's drink, by the way.
And the guy just drank afterward. That's just unsanitary. Kids, if you're still following along, every bad guy in the place just drew his weapon. Red Foreman's having the time of his life. That guy's always in a good mood. Detroit Tigers are still an active organization, Chris, apparently.
Yes.
Think they're winning in this dystopian future? Uh-oh.
I don't know. We
Knock.
could ask Boddicker here. He seems like he's a big fan. He never misses a game, apparently.
That's fair, yeah. That's a strong door if I've ever seen one. Holy Lord. Wait. Trouble. I like how the hesitation happened. These guys are bad shots. I've seen them get hit twice.
Connecting. Yeah, some of them are connecting.
There we go. There's a few.
Some of the like retroactive things that George Lucas put into place in Star Wars, especially when stormtroopers are notoriously bad shots, you would think like, since they're supposedly all clones, maybe they should have picked a better shot before they started that cloning process.
Well, let me ask you a question there, Chris. How do we know the original clone? How do we know he wasn't like nearsighted or something? See, and all the clones after that, right? No one ever talks about that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we could go down a big rabbit hole on that one.
Jango Fett, the original clone. Boba's father. Or not father, but you get it.
Tom, if I ever find myself in a shootout and know I'm going to die, I'm going to make sure that I do that scream yell that guy just did. The
Wilhelm scream. Is that what it was? Did I miss it? That's been in so many things over the years. Look it up sometime if you haven't. There's a big, long rabbit hole to go down with the Wilhelm scream. It's been around forever. It becomes a running gag that a lot of directors will put into their films. It was in Star Wars, actually. He's like, hey, that's not cool. I don't even have a paper towel. Come on, man.
At this point, is it using excessive force? I
mean, yeah.
Throwing people through glass panes if you're...
I would think. That's twice.
Yeah.
Look, he doesn't have a weapon on him. Come on. It's civil rights.
I kind of want to make that my ringtone for the next week.
Yes.
Jones.
Directive 3 there, Murphy. Don't forget.
Got to uphold the law. His programming will not let him murder this man, turns out.
That's right.
Unlike Ed 209, who's just rogue.
Yes. Arrest mode. Notice there's no blood mode, right? Like the guy's bleeding all over himself. There is a union, Chris. You hear that?
Yeah. This union's not very good. They just let their homie get turned into a robot, no questions asked.
Yeah. You didn't get him counseling. Nothing. What's the charge? He's a cop killer.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm going to say he's a jerk. This guy's got a thing about spitting blood everywhere.
Yeah, he's actually a menace to society with all of the things he's done in the past 5 minutes, shoving his hands in people's drinks, spitting blood all over the place.
He called him from the police station on a line that can be tapped. Or wait, you can't tap lines going out of the police station, can you? Or can you? Or coming in? I don't know.
I mean, I think you would think everything would be a recorded line.
I would think. Right? Now, keep in mind, the limit of my knowledge about internal police operations is confined to action movies such as this. So,
yeah, and like detective shows for me.
Law and Order season 1 through 5. Yeah.
Have you been watching the new True Detective season?
I have not. We binged season 1 last week, the entire first season, and we're trying to go in order, and we're a couple episodes into season 2, and I'm not feeling it yet. I'm just not feeling it yet.
Yeah, season 2 is probably my least favorite of the seasons, but it gets better.
Well, I may just skip to season 3 because I love Mahershala Ali. I want to see him. So
yeah, Stephen Dorff is amazing in season 3, so I highly
love Stephen
highly
Dorff.
recommend.
Is he a villain in season 3? I mean, not to tell me.
He's a partner.
Isn't it funny how Mahershala Ali is going to play Blade, and Stephen Dorff was Deacon in the Blade movie? Isn't that fun?
Yeah, maybe they'll bring him back. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. Kidding me?
Bring Deacon Frost back.
Yes,
that'd be pretty cool.
That's one of the best names I've ever heard.
Detectives fans pretty excited.
Oh,
for sure.
That's one of the best names I've ever heard is Deacon Frost. I love that name.
It also comes off as like something someone would have as like an AOL, AIM, Instant Messenger screen name.
Deacon Frost. Kind of sounds like a running back for the Detroit Lions in like 1961 or something.
Have you done Blade in your archives?
We have not done Blade.
You might have to do Blade.
I bet we'll do Blade now. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Blade a lot. The first one.
Too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, yeah. Just the first. Wesley Snipes didn't get enough credit.
Talk about Triple H.
No, it's okay. That's all right. He's got some stank on him right now for a lot of good reasons and a lot of bad reasons. I mean, I'm just saying. So we'll see. If you're still following along with us, kids, Dick has got the drop on the cop. So put that on a t-shirt.
Because of Directive 4.
Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Directive 4. I want it to be a guy carrying tacos. Crap, it's not.
Awesome. It's not. At 209, just walks in with just one of those Taco Bell party packs.
Yeah, but he's holding a platter. I was thinking bags, but he's holding a platter. That's better. And then he comes in, he's like, Robocop's, I do enjoy a good taco. First time we've seen the hero in any sort of distress at all. Well, I mean, since they killed him. At the beginning. I'm just saying, we forgot that bit.
We need someone that's just like kind of dead, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He was a little way too dead for me. I still dispute whether or not this would have even worked to begin with, but what do I know? What do I know about the high-tech world of dystopia 1989? I can't let that go. It's too fun.
Robocop, like, just ripped off Ed 209's arm.
Yes.
It's, oh, wow. I forgot that it can shoot rockets.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to beat this thing. Oh! That's awesome. That looks good.
There's trouble in the tower.
I'd say that's an understatement.
Caused.
Yeah. Boy, Ed can move when it wants to, can it?
Yeah. Ed 209 is in the Robocop video game as well.
Oh, good.
And you have some interactions where you're doing some police missions with Ed 209 as a partner almost. His only
Ed 209
stairs.
Ed 209 meeting its greatest enemy and biggest adversary, a flight of stairs. Crap. It sounds like a little toddler.
It looks so derpy when it falls. It almost has a Gremlins feel to it.
No. Little Junior fell down the steps. We got to help him up.
You know, it really makes you wonder why Shredder never just like put one of the turtles on their back and the Ninja Turtles because they would just be like, ah.
Well, because he can kip up. That's why. That's the deal. They're ninjas.
Can they kip up?
They're ninjas, man. Come on.
Shell's round though. Like, can you do a kip up? I'm gonna have to test this theory.
Yeah. All I gotta do is find a turtle guy. See if he can bounce up.
It sounds like a good way for me to injure myself trying to do a kip up with a homemade turtle shell on my back.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think a command from a cop would be fire at will? A cop just said that. Fire at will.
Well, that's like that's the whole thing, right? Is the OCP is controlling the police force or whatever.
Yeah. Robocop's like, I mean, this is feeling really familiar. I can't place it. What? I mean,
to answer your question, I've been here before. Isn't the fire at will basically what happened in Waco?
Oh, yeah. Well, hey. People thought this wasn't that kind of podcast. We'll fool them. We'll show them. Think again.
Don't give Tom the hate for anyone that's mad. You can get at me at Chris R. Patton on Twitter.
There you go. I deflect. I redirect. I deflect and redirect. By the way, I'm loving that score. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Did we look up? Did you say who did this score? I'm kind of curious now what else they've done.
I did not.
Basil Poldoris.
Interesting.
Both synthesized and orchestral music as a mirror to the man versus the machine theme of the movie. That's
nice.
That's actually a really cool idea. Knowing that they were just like, hey, we're making a movie about a Robocop.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he has done. Conan the Barbarian and Starship Troopers.
Yep. There you go. These guys all worked on the same projects. A lot of this creative team worked together on other things.
What's crazy is he didn't compose the music for RoboCop 2, but he did RoboCop and RoboCop 3, which is kind of wonder what that was all about.
Good question. So the writer of this movie apparently wanted to leave the audience asking what's left of Murphy and describe the character's journey as coping with his transformation. So kind of some resurrection stuff happening here.
So a space laser just randomly fired off during testing and shot a bunch of people all over the world is what I got out of that news.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that kind of thing happens. So, I mean, when it happens, you just got to be ready, Stay in your basement, Crazy. Because they mentioned the Star Wars defense system earlier, right? So that was what it was. Look, unemployed person.
This guy is great. I hope he got so much more work after that one line.
It was awesome. I love how he's just allowed to walk in there in broad daylight. Good Lord.
There's a Tigers game later. We can check that out.
I got season passes.
See, literally, we were right, dude. He's a menace. He's just spitting, leaving chewing gum on people's desks.
He's so unhealthy and he's unsanitary. I mean, he's smoking all the time. He's putting stuff up his nose. I mean, what is that? Better put some ointment on that. I mean, I could get infected. I'm just saying. Ooh. You involved me, he says. And you're smoking in my office. You're going to have to kill it, he says. And he's got a potty mouth, Chris. We forgot to mention that.
I mean, he does make a good point here, though.
Well, it's true.
Your company did build it, bro.
Yeah.
You would think that that they would just have override codes built into Robocop that this guy could just type in and delete history, like no questions asked. Ha 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 ha. Because he's been calling him Dick very sarcastically this whole conversation.
it's again, he's rude. It's very unnecessary. So, guy's name's Dick. What's wrong with that?
Is this the first ever iPod he's got in his hand here?
I think so, yeah. Having flashbacks to the Gremlin episode where we saw things predicted, including, the Keurig and a host of other things.
Yeah. That guy was really onto something. Someone that had so many failed inventions going back and watching the Gremlins. So I guess next Christmas we're doing Gremlins 2.
That works.
We're going to go ahead and get that on the calendar.
Right.
Almost a year in advance.
Got to plan ahead. Be like The Rock versus Cena. We'll start booking it and start hyping it now.
Yeah.
Cops are on strike. It's not good news for our intrepid heroes.
Robocop's just repairing himself here, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he only eats liquid diet, basically, right? She brought him baby food. I never noticed that. Probably should have been paying attention the bazillion times I've seen this movie. I mean, she could have offered to help him undrill his helmet.
Yeah.
It seems like kind of a hard thing to do.
I bet if he was undrilling, his cod piece there, she'd be seeing it because, we've established where her eyes naturally fall. Such a bad cop this Lewis is.
This is just kind of that if we go too far into that conversation, it's treading to Mallrats territory where he's just constantly thinking about the thing's junk or whatever.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. What do you call it? His doink, I think. Didn't Brody call it his doink? What if his doink's green? Do you think it is? Yeah.
It's a great Stan Lee cameo too.
Oh, it is. If you remember back, by the way, never done Mallrats here on the show either. So there you go. But if you remember back to that, when Stan's walking this direction and Brody stops him and says, "Was it worth it?" And Stan answers him. He walks in the opposite direction of where he was initially going. So where was he going before Brody stopped him? You know what I mean? So we'll have to do Mallrats. I'm here for that.
It's not a schooner, it's a boat. A schooner is a boat. You idiot.
Man, have you seen him lately? Dude, he is jacked.
Yeah, it's crazy. He got in really, really good shape. That was one of the My Name is Earl was one of the shows I was the most disappointed about when it got just randomly canceled.
Boy, I'll tell you this. Season 1 of that show is a work of art for me. I love that season 1. Season 2, and then season 3, you kind of felt like, I think the end's coming. Because, dude, whenever characters begin acting out of character and random things happen because it feels like they're just happening just to happen, that to me begins to say, okay, we're losing focus here. And that's what happened to that show, in my opinion.
I just rewatched it recently, and I liked pretty much all the seasons. The I think part of it is it fell within a writer's strike too, right?
I think you're right.
It went from like 2005 to 2009.
God, that first
I
season,
wonder if that played into it, because I mean, the way they end it, because there was no natural conclusion to the story, is very disappointing for fans
yeah,
of
it's true. Yeah.
the show. Because like the show gives you what the ending is going to be, which is the completion of the list from the very first episode, and they never get
Yeah.
there, which is kind of
Yeah.
disappointing.
It's very disappointing. What a great show. I mean, look, kids, let's catch up. The cops are on strike. The bad guys, however, are not. So, and there's Nash with his perfect coiffed hair. Holy Lord.
This particular sniper rifle is also in the Robocop game.
Wonderful. What's the show they're watching, by the way? We have yet to call it out.
6,000 sucks.
Yeah. The show that has the I'd buy that for $1. What's the show they're watching? I feel like we should call that out. And I don't think we have.
I'm gonna look it up right now, because I don't really know the name of it.
He just used the F word, which is not something we're doing. I mean the other F word. So. God, he's got a bunch of those guns, dude. Good Lord.
It doesn't really Okay, so it's supposed to be like their version, at least according to some articles I'm seeing here. It doesn't actually have a name, but it's supposed to be like their dirty version of Married with Children.
Oh.
Like a futuristic sitcom, apparently.
Interesting.
But I don't see like an actual title for the show. Which is interesting, because I always thought it was like a game show, kind of like those weird Japanese game shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
you know what?
I always assumed it was.
Same. So we're finally getting to see Peter Weller basically full. God, dude, the effects around his face are tremendous, aren't they?
Yeah.
That makeup job and look at that. Oh, that looks good. That looks really good. Actually.
They can rebuild an entire human into a robot, but they couldn't like help him with his digestive tract, so he didn't have to eat like baby food only.
Well, I mean, there's bigger fish to fry here, dude. I mean, especially when Directive 4 is get tacos. Yeah. Did he reveal Directive 4, by the way? It came up on the screen, but did he reveal what it was?
No.
We still don't know. Oh, okay, good. By the way, Chris, we're 16 minutes left in this movie, and we've not even talked about Sting, about the tag team of the century. Sting and the one and only Robocop together.
Wow. It makes you really appreciate what Eric Bischoff was able to accomplish when you go back and see some of that early 90s WCW stuff. That was supposed to be like a ad spot for Robocop 3 too, which is, as we've talked about, not the best Robocop.
No. By the way, for you non-wrestling people, we're talking about Sting the wrestler, not the musician. So let's get this big honking gun.
Capital Combat 1990. What a pay-per-view name.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that name, actually.
Back in the days of Justin TV, there was a streaming site I was an admin on called Stro Wrestling, and all they did was show like every episode of each wrestling product from like 1986 to I think it was like 99, I want to say.
Interesting.
And if you go back and watch some of those weekly WCWs from the 90s, wow, are they not great?
Yeah. Yeah, people think about that company. All they want to talk about is the NWO and Sting and the Crow gimmick. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all are forgetting A lot of programming that led to that was crap, and a lot of program during was crap, and most of the program after, all crap.
People like to look at that entire Attitude Era and WCW era with some rose-colored glasses, but if you actually go back and watch some of the week-to-week shows, there's some pretty bad, not just bad gimmicks, but also some bad wrestling.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't hold up. It was hard to watch. I lived it in real time. If anyone lived through it in real time, you know what I mean. It's not like Chris said, it's not the romantic thing that you may recall. It's really not. Like, I think by the 45th Rock promo that he was still talking about monkeys and, shoving things up your keister. At that point, I'm like, God, dude, someone write this guy some new material. This is getting so old for me,
Well,
monkey.
Get even more of it because The Rock is back.
Yeah.
Road to WrestleMania, Tom.
Has he mentioned monkeys yet? He probably has, hasn't he?
His current, he's doing a heel gimmick right now, so we'll see what that's.
He'll talk about monkeys. Bad guys like to talk about monkeys and their reproductive organs and their anus.
Tom, do you like pie?
Yeah, no kidding. Private parts. Oh man, and this, kids, if you'll pay attention. So Emil becomes the Toxic Avenger. He gets redemption. He goes on to help people. So we're all good. I'm kidding. That did not happen. Oh. I loved how there was that vat of toxic waste just lying around. Like, made of tinfoil, apparently. Could just drive a car through it. That was awesome.
I'm just looking up who worked on most of these special effects. You may have said it earlier. Did we talk about Rob Bottin earlier?
We did. I
thought we did. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, because we talked about The Thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, there's like some actual great information on this Wikipedia page for Robocop as far as a specific section related to the special effects. I really appreciate whoever put the time and effort in to do that. Out here doing the Lord's work.
I'm telling you. We had to just address the fact that Emil just met his demise at the hands of Red Foreman's car.
Which was
made him go splat.
Sucks, by the way.
Yes. Oh, there's Lewis not doing the right thing again. Maybe they put her in the suit next. What do you think?
They should have. That would have been awesome, honestly.
She was not a great cop, dude. Can we be honest about it?
No, she's pretty bad. But they do say that, like, she's basically fairly new at this point because he's like, I got to break in a new partner or whatever, kind of at the beginning of the movie. But
yeah, right. So she's the veteran cop?
No, I think that he was the veteran.
Oh, he
cop.
is. Gotcha. Gotcha. She didn't get any better, I'll tell you. Is she in the sequel?
I believe so. I think Lewis she's in the actress does the voice in the video game as well.
Nice. Nancy Allen.
Let's look up Nancy Allen here.
Yeah. Nancy Allen's done some stuff. Look, let's be honest. Everybody involved with this film has worked the convention circuit since the day it was probably released, especially the conventions became a big popular thing in the 90s going into the 2000s. And good for them. Like, they're connected to a piece of pop culture, man. Oh, yeah, no, not Nash.
She's in all of the Robocops. That's kind of what I thought. But
there went Nash and his amazing hair.
I want to say, Nancy Allen, you've aged very well. You are still a very beautiful lady.
Nancy, if you're listening to this, big fans. Chris is a big fan. You were a terrible cop.
Yeah, terrible
as an
cop.
Actress.
You do a great job at being a terrible cop. So there's that.
And you killed Nash, Nancy. And we're not big fans of that. Nash with his great hair deserved better. Emil kind of had it coming.
Wow. Stabbed him in the neck with the computer key thing.
Yikes.
I love a good blood spurting effect. That was a pretty good one.
You gotta love it. Murphy, I've been shot 9 times. Murphy, how am I still conscious, Murphy?
They'll fix you.
They'll fix you. They fix everything. Don't worry. Don't fret. It'll be fine.
As long as you're just a little bit dead.
Just barely dead. I was way more dead than you are now.
Kind of reminds me of Cool Runnings where they flip the bobsled and he's like, "You dead, man?"
Yes. I was way more dead than you are now. You'll be fine. Uh-oh. Showdown time.
Yeah.
Robocop versus Ed 209 Part 2. It's the comeback match. This is match number 2 here.
Did they ever explain why he never puts back on his helmet?
No. Okay. I think because he lost the bolts. I think that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The bolts just fell out and they couldn't find them. There was a lot of junk in that factory, dude. Couldn't find the bolts.
Why would he leave that gun? I would take it with me just in case there's like multiple Ed 209s.
That one shot from that gun took this Ed 209 down. One shot.
I love this chicken with its head cut off kind of Ed 209 sequence.
Why would they have a gun that could take?
Well, he gave it to Bodker to specifically kill Robocop. So I guess the expectation was
if they have a gun that can kill the Ed 209, why would they need Ed 209? When they just had the gun? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, in theory, you could have a bunch of Ed 209s in mass production, right? Patrolling the city. So you wouldn't necessarily need human effort anymore, I think is.
But don't mass produce the gun.
Maybe the gun's actually more expensive to make than the Ed 209.
It's not the gun, Chris, it's the bullets.
It's the ammunition, yeah.
Bullets are pricey.
Well, you know what they say. They're trying to take our guns, Tom.
Hey, over my dead cold body, over my half dead, barely dead RoboCop body.
Now I kind of just want to see like a South Park RoboCop Ed 209 mashup where they're like, "Ticker jabs."
Yeah, I like how by the end of that episode, it was so incoherent. It just became deep. That was all it was. Well, back to the pile.
Everyone back to the pile.
Yeah.
I've been I recently rewatched the majority of South Park, and it's crazy how that show shifts.
In what way?
From what it originally was to like getting more in like depth, like with some of the storylines and arching elements of that show.
Yeah. He just sealed Dick's fate by firing him.
So they never actually say what Directive 4 is, but since they're not going to present it here, Directive 4 is
he smiled.
Yeah, because he's gained consciousness or whatever. But Directive 4 is just that he can't arrest an OCP officer in any situation. Apparently, that was programmed specifically by Dick Jones, so that he would have immunity. Basically,
we were talking over that moment when he confronted him. So maybe he told him in the dialogue. Maybe he did say, "That's Directive 4. You can't arrest me." I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
He should have also programmed in, "You can't shoot me." He missed that line of code. Apparently,
you can't shoot me, whether or not I'm an employee. It doesn't matter. You can't shoot me. Because you're right. Because that as soon as the guy fired him just now, thank you, blam.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, kids? You had fun. Shut up. You know you did. There's RoboCop for you. Done and done. In the can. An hour.
A fun movie. Such a fun movie.
Aged pretty well. I think it's aged pretty well. It's of its time, but I think it's aged pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, some of the stop motion stuff I still love because I find that to be more entertaining than a lot of just let's do a lot of CGI. But Yeah, I could see some people being, that would be the one thing you could say potentially that didn't age the best. But I love it. So it just depends on the kind of things you like. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. RoboCop's still really cool.
And look, let's don't forget the post credit scene because Nick Fury shows up and brings tacos. I wanted to mix both of our running gag with a Nick Fury reference. So there you go.
Yeah, it's setting up the movie RoboCop versus Predator coming to a theater near you.
That was something else that became an 80s trope, was like, let's take two big properties and put them against each other. Book it against each other,
let's book it, brother.
Yeah.
RoboCop put the strap on RoboCop.
RoboCop versus Big Van Vader. Winner take all. Yeah.
You really have to go and read some of the stuff around that RoboCop appearance at that pay-per-view, because they didn't know that the suit was that awkward, so they had like all this stuff planned out they were going to do with RoboCop, and they're like, oh man, he can literally not do any of that in this suit.
They're like, all right, here's what we're thinking. We want you to hit the Hurricane Rana, okay? Then you're going to do a 450. And the actor's like, I don't think I could do those things. Who was in the suit? Do we know?
Oh, for that appearance? No, I don't know right offhand. I'm sure it's out there, but I do know that they were like wanted to have him do some like simple moves, to help Sting out or whatever. And when they realized how awkward it is to just move in the suit in general, they were like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
I mean, if you're in the crowd that night, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about this? Are you like, oh, it's RoboCop?
I mean, it's a promotional tie-in. I think adults were probably groaning at it, but if you're like 6, if you're like me, you're like, yeah, RoboCop.
RoboCop's here
to this is awesome.
To help Sting. Yeah, wow.
I know for a fact. I know for a fact, 5-year-old me would have been super hyped.
I mean, he can't tag. If he tags Sting, he breaks his hand, so he's got to be careful. You know what I mean?
Now, that's the other thing that's weird about the RoboCop tie-in is like, I mean, in theory, he'd just be able to destroy every wrestler, right? Like,
yeah.
I guess you could book him against Andre, the Ghost Andre.
I mean, RoboCop ain't jobbing for nobody. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna drop the leg, brother.
Yeah, he's gonna drop it hard. Well, not that hard, but if you thought it took a long time for the other guy to throw a punch, wait till you see this RoboCop guy throw a punch. I'm telling you, look out.
Now I kind of want like the big Papa Pump promo off against RoboCop.
Where he's doing the math on how it's going to be to beat him,
Yeah, RoboCop starts doing the math in his head. That's how Steiner gets the victory. He confuses its programming.
You got a 27% chance of beating me, but I got a 37% chance. Stop. Yeah.
Oh man.
Can you imagine being the camera crew that night? Was it TNA that happened, or was that WWE when he
was
cut?
TNA. I mean, they're probably used to it because it's all of Steiner's promos in TNA are kind of a variation
like
of that.
Yeah, and the guy's like, just keep filming. Jesus. Yeah. Well,
do you think they did multiple takes too? Because TNA has always been a taped show. Like, all right, let's get another cut. Let's do that one more time.
The joke was always, Scott Steiner with a live mic. Ooh, uh-oh. And I'm like, no, Scott Steiner live mic is back. Scott Steiner can't talk. He gets flubbed up. He gets confused. He can't get his words out the right way. I'm like, how are you at this level and still can't cut a promo? I mean, if he only said like 12 words, he was good. Anything past 12 words, there's a 27% chance he was, no. But terrible.
Who's the worst? Who's the worst live promo? Scott Steiner or Sid?
You got to hold them both till about 12 words.
Yeah,
12 words, I think, is the number.
There is this great build up to HBK versus Sid at the Alamo Dome, and he has like a really great promo there. Sid Vicious.
Interesting.
Those out there that you could go check that out.
they sent Sid out to interrupt one of those. It's the champion, and 4 guys come out, and each guy's like, "Nuh-uh," and the next guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you," and the next guy, right? So it's one of those spots, and then he comes out, and they didn't have enough mics to go around, so Bret Hart tosses the mic to him all the way across the ring, and he caught it, and Sid goes, "Thank you, my man," and then he addresses whoever the heel is. And I'm like, did that just happen? Like, it was such an odd, I don't know why it'd stay with me. It's such an odd moment. Anyway.
I would love to meet Sid at like a convention or something. Like I kind of want to know what he's like in real life.
Yeah.
We know he's a big softball fan.
That's fair. Yeah. That injury.
You have to keep scissors away from him.
Oh. See, we were keeping it lighthearted, and you went all Robocop on us. You know what I mean? So, like, that injury that night, I've only ever watched it in play out in real time once, and that was when it happened.
Yeah, same.
Me and a buddy of mine were watching Nitro, and it happened, and when you saw it, you're like, and then when he's flopping on the mat, you go, "Oh, God!" Like, I'm physically pushing myself back from the TV. And Nitro, for whatever reason, they replayed it like 4 times on live TV. And my buddy's going, "Dude." And I'm like covering my face. He's like, "Dude, look." And I'm like, I'm not watching it again. Like,
gnarly. That was like the Ray Phoenix injury. I was like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
Things like as far as injuries in live time, those are 2 very gnarly ones that I kind of got the same reaction out of.
Dante Martin.
Yeah, that one was rough too, for sure.
Oh, wow. So we're on to the second half of this episode where we just talk about wrestling. You guys ready? So we hope you have enjoyed this here little episode. And as is often the case here on the 6M, in the course of doing an episode, we'll discover, hey, we haven't done these yet. So then I throws them on the list. So don't be surprised if some of the stuff you heard about today, you're going to hear about soon, because that's kind of how we roll. But Chris, in the meantime, let's take this home. Give me your last word on Robocop.
Still a wonderful film. Makes me feel like a child again watching it. Absolutely love it, man. Fun watch. If at this point everyone has seen it, I would hope, but like if you know someone that hasn't seen it, buy it on Blu-ray for them or something.
Share it.
Also play that game. It's great.
You have the gift of Robocop. I'm saying, plenty of months left before the Christmas season gets here. And you just watched it with us. So you just listened to our commentary and you're enthralled and captivated by how amazing it was. So what more can you ask for? More to come, possibly Robocop 2 at some point. We will wait and see how we feel about that. We will read the room and take a consensus at some point and say, We'll see. Does it hold up next to Terminator? Does it hold it to other science fiction film franchises, kids? That is up to you to make your decision. Everything's subjective. That's the fun thing about art. You don't have to all like the same thing. You don't all have to hate the same thing either. It's entirely up to you. Where you hold Robocop in your fandom is your decision. I won't make it for you. But I'm with Chris. I still enjoy this movie. It's a big part of my teenage years. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again, and we hope you enjoyed watching it along with us. And stay tuned, there's more to come. But for now, that is Robocop. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 6M Podcast. We'll see you next time.